We're so happy to see you. Let's do our quick jingle. Welcome to the real ABC Yoga channel. Thank you all for joining. So we're going to get started actually on our backs. It seems so weird. So welcome. So come onto your back body. We're going to squeeze those knees into our chest. Reach for opposite elbows. Take a nice big breath in through the nose. Open up the mouth and let it go. Let's take two more like that. We breathe in. Mouth open. Exhale. We'll take one more breath here. Let it go. And just reaching for the inner arches of our feet, we'll find our happy baby. So allowing those knees to gently come a little closer to the earth as we begin to stretch out those inner groins and massaging our back by maybe rocking gently side to side, flexing those feet. Let's unhinge our jaw. And keeping that left knee bent, just extend through that right heel. So it may be a subtle movement. You can let go of the hand and maybe stretch out through that heel. Take another breath here. We'll let that go. We'll draw that heel, that right heel back in and finding the other side. So stretching that left heel out to the side, maybe let go. Feel that inner groin stretch. Nice, and keeping that left leg where it is, just allow that right leg to come out so you're in that supported straddle on your back. Then you'll bend both knees, draw those knees back to center, and we'll cactus our hands out to the side. So just allow those knees to fall to the left. Your shoulders are rooted, and maybe take your gaze over that opposite shoulder. Finding that breath. Take another inhale. Let it go. And on that next in-breath, the knees come back to center. And we'll fall, have those knees fall to the opposite side. Allowing those knees to energetically squeeze towards one another and maybe take your gaze over that opposite shoulder. So thank you for joining everyone this morning. We'll come back to center and we'll take our hands underneath our knees and gently rock your spine backwards and forwards. So just 2 or 3 rocks till you find those sits bones, and I'll have you cross your legs out in front of you. You'll take that right hand to the floor, take the left hand up and over. So we'll take a slight bend in that right elbow. You can close your eyes, maybe gaze up towards the hand, and maybe walk the right hand a little further out to the side. After a few breaths, you can take a slight bend in that elbow. So fanning those ribs wide. And we inhale and come to the other side. So slight bend in that left elbow, right arm up and over. Those sits bones are rooted. Navel is engaged in and up towards your spine. And after a few breaths here, maybe walk the left fingers out a little further, slight bend. Feel that gorgeous stretch. So we'll take both hands up and let's spin to the right. So the left hand on your right knee, we lift our heart and we twist towards that right shoulder. Breathe in, good morning Ringo, and we twist. One more inhale, twist. And we'll come back to center, take both hands back up, and we'll spin in the opposite direction, right hand on left knee. We inhale, and we twist. Sip in an inhale, let it go. Gorgeous, one more breath in. Nice long exhale. Come back to center and just find your way into your downward dog. So hands, shoulders distance apart, feet are hips distance apart, our toes turned in slightly. We'll begin to pedal out our feet. Shake out that head. And then begin to find stillness in your downward dog. So hands and feet are rooting. You can soften those knees slightly, shake out that head, and energetically draw those heels a little closer to the mat. So you externally rotate those shoulders. Take a deeper bend in those knees. See if you can press your chest a little closer towards your thighs. Then we begin to open up the backs of the legs by drawing those heels a little closer to the floor. Shake out that head. On the inhale, we're going to come onto the balls of the feet. So you open up those arches, spin your toes towards the left, and just drop your hips a little closer to the mat. So you're finding a deep hip crease. On an inhale, you come back to your downward dog, spin your toes in the opposite direction, and just drop your hips towards the floor. So we'll take that one more time on each side. So you're on the balls of the feet, open up the arches, spin the toes towards the left, drop your hips down. Beautiful. We inhale and spin your toes in the opposite direction. Beautiful. Drop your hips a little closer to the floor. We lift, find your way back into downward dog. So shake out that head. Keep your hands where they are. Let's walk our feet to the top of the mat. Keep hips distance with those feet. Spread the toes wide. We'll take a slight bend in those knees. Reach for opposite elbows. Pour all of those thoughts out of your head. Your feet are rooting you down. You take a little more weight into the balls of the feet. Feel the hamstrings begin to fire. So let's let go of our elbows. Take your hands behind the back body. So you can always use a hand towel to give yourself a little more room. If you can interlace your hands, if that's available, maybe take that gesture. You'll let that head be nice and loose, and you'll just draw your hands away from the back body, opening up those shoulders. Take a deeper bend in those knees, spread those toes. Please take one more inhale here. We let that go. On an inhale, please find that halfway lift. We lengthen through the spine. Take the opposite thumb on top, slight bend in the knees. We'll forward fold one more time. So those hands come away from the back body. Shake out that head. Maybe lick your lips. Take one more breath in. On an exhale, release your hands to the floor. We'll heel toe those feet together. We'll find that halfway lift one more time. Hands can rest on your shins. On an exhalation, forward fold, Uttanasana. And on the inhale, we unwind the spine, root those feet, tuck your tail, extend the arms up overhead. Big breath in. We'll take a slight back bend. And we forward fold, swan dive. Navel in and up towards your spine. We find that halfway lift. On the exhale, take that right leg behind you. Hands are in front of that left foot. And we'll just rock backwards and forward. Warming up those ankles. Open up those collarbones. So your heart is reaching, it's extending beyond your mat. Now take that right knee to the earth, untuck the toes. So finding that deeper bend in the hips, maybe that gorgeous stretch on that right hip flexor. Now we'll draw our hips back, we'll lengthen over that left leg. So root through the right shin. You can walk that left heel in front of you, flex the foot, and lengthen over that left leg. Steady breathing. Bill's taking his right hand on the outer edge of the left foot, So encouraging those toes back. Beautiful, one more breath here. On an exhale, we'll take a bend in that left knee again. Tuck those right toes under, and we'll just step that right foot to meet the left. We'll find that halfway lift, forward fold, and we'll step the opposite, that left foot back. So we find that supported high lunge, and again, just gently rock backwards and forwards. You can take those right toes off the mat, but we're just warming up the ankle, reaching through that left heel. Open up those collarbones. Beautiful. Now we'll lower that left knee down, untuck the toes, root through the shin, and just find that deeper stretch, opening up that left hip flexor. Shoulders relax. So just enjoying that breath in and out through the nose. Clearing out those inner cobwebs in the body. Now drawing those hips back, we'll lengthen over that right leg. Flex the toes, maybe draw that right heel closer to the top of the mat. As you lengthen your chest over that right leg, soften the knees, a knee as much as you need to. And maybe take that opposite hand, that left hand on the outer edge of the right foot, encouraging those toes back towards the forehead. Please take one more breath here. Nice, we'll let it go. We'll take a slight bend in that right knee, left toes tuck under, and we'll step that left foot to the right. We find that halfway lift, forward fold into Uttanasana, then slowly unwind the spine, head is super heavy. We'll extend our arms up overhead. Let's take that slight back bend again. As we swan dive forward, exhale the air out all the way, halfway lift. Let's step into our high plank. So our toes are hips distance, our shoulders are over our wrist creases. Lift that back body a couple of inches. So we're engaging all those muscles. Let's take two more breaths. Looking straight ahead, lengthening back through the neck. We'll take one more inhale. On an exhale, find downward dog. Eyes towards the back of the mat. So the right leg lifts. We'll draw the knee to the nose on the exhale. Shift the weight over those wrist creases. Extend, point through the toes. Exhale, squeeze the knee to the nose. Two more like that. Move with your breath. We inhale. Exhale, we squeeze and round. Last one. We breathe in. Squeeze the knees to the nose. And let's find that crescent lunge. So slowly come all the way up. Eyes are straight ahead. Draw those floating ribs back into the body. Modification is just taking that left knee to the earth. So take another breath in here. On an exhale, hands to the floor, right leg back. Pause for a beat in your high plank. Option to drop to those knees to low plank. A cobra or an upward dog. Beautiful. Downward dog. Eyes towards the back of the mat. The left leg lifts. So point through the toes. Now we squeeze the knee to the nose on the exhale. Shift that weight forward. Three more. We lengthen. Then we squeeze the air out of the body. Beautiful. Two more. We breathe in. We breathe out. Last one. Extend. We'll draw the knee to the nose. And then find our way into crescent lunge. So offsetting those feet gives you that more secure balance. Draw those arms all the way up towards your ears. Can you track that left knee over the left ankle? One more breath in. Hands to the floor. Beautiful. Your vinyasa. So take that left leg back. Pause for a beat in high plank. Bill's got his extra push-ups going to low plank. Cobra or upward dog. We'll meet in downward dog. So the beauty of our home practice is We can just focus on ourselves, really listening to our body, taking it breath by breath. Let's take one more inhale. Let's let it go completely. Look forward, deep bend in the knees, walk, maybe hop to the top of the mat. We'll find that halfway lift. Forward fold, Uttanasana. Let's unwind that spine again. So take your time. Lines of energy out through the fingertips. We take that slight back bend again, and we'll swan dive forward. Ride that breath all the way down. Gorgeous. We find that halfway lift. With control, step or jump those feet back. High to low plank, cobra or upward dog. We'll meet in downward dog. Eyes towards the back of the mat. So our right leg lifts. We'll step it forward into warrior one. Left heel on the floor. We'll ride that breath all the way up. So interlacing those hands behind the back body. Notice which thumb is on top. Let's just lift our heart. And we'll open up our palms so that right knee is tracking over the right ankle. Just slowly allow those hands to maybe slide down that left thigh a little bit. Our throat is soft. Our eyes are bright. Take another breath in here. On an exhale, we'll come back to center. Now we'll find our silver surfer. So crown of the head on the inside of the front foot. So we're opening up our shoulders by drawing our hands away from the back body. Deep bend in that right knee. Now noticing where those hip points are, you want to spin them towards the back of the mat. Still tracking that right knee over the right ankle. Let the head be super heavy. Take another breath in here. Complete that exhalation. On an inhale, we slowly come back through our warrior one. And let's open into warrior two. Good morning. That right knee is tracking over the right ankle. We'll reverse our warrior. And let's find our vinyasa. So our hands come to the mat, that right leg back. You can skip the vinyasa, meet in downward dog or high to low plank, cobra or upward dog. Beautiful downward dog. Eyes towards the back of the mat. The left leg lifts. Step it forward into warrior one. Right heel on the floor. We ride that breath all the way up. So hands behind the back body. Take that opposite thumb on top. We open up the heart and then opening up those palms. So the left knee tracks over the left ankle. We slowly allow the hands to slide down that right thigh. So it can be a very subtle movement. Finding that rhythmic breathing. Can you soften in this position? And then taking your head up, we'll find silver surfer. Engage that navel as you take the crown of the head on the inside of that left foot. Draw the hands away from the back body and spin the hip points towards, the sit points, I should say, towards the back of your mat. Left knee is tracking over left ankle. Spread those toes wide. Let the head surrender here. Can you take your hands a little further away from the back body? Exhale the air completely. Let's slowly extend back into warrior one. And we'll open into warrior two. So left knee over left ankle. Let's reverse our flow. Left arm up and over. And we'll take our hands to the floor. That left leg back. Your vinyasa, high to low, cobra or up dog. Nice. Downward dog. Soft eye gaze towards the back of the mat. Finding that breath. Equal inhalation as your exhalation. Shake the extra energy out of your head. Please take one more breath in. We let it go completely. Look forward, deep bend in the knees, step, maybe fly to the top. We'll find that halfway lift, forward fold, We'll sit into our chair, Utkatasana. Lines of energy out through the fingertips. Energetically squeeze those knees together. Now take your hands to heart center as we fold. Crown of the head towards the floor. We find that halfway lift. With control, we step. Maybe jump those feet back, high to low plank. Cobra or up dog. We'll meet in downward dog. Eyes towards the back of the mat. So that right leg lifts again. Adding on here, we find our warrior one. Big breath in. And hands behind the back. A little faster here. We lift our heart and we find silver surfer. Stay here for one full breath in. One full breath out. On an inhale, we ride back through our warrior one. We open into warrior two. Let's reverse our warrior here. Come back to warrior two. Now straighten the right leg into our triangle. So we'll extend, allow the hands to fall towards the floor, the brick, left hand up towards the sky. So lift through those kneecaps. Let's close our eyes here and just feel where we are in space. Feet are rooting. Just allow those eyes to open back up towards the sky. We're going to take that left hand on our left hip, slight bend in the right knee, finding our way into half moon. So great time to have a brick close by. You elevate that left foot, flex the feet, and maybe extend that left hand up towards the sky. Steady breathing here. Option to find that balance. Maybe come onto the finger pads of the bottom hand or allow them to float off the mat. One more breath here. On an exhale, let's take that left hand to the floor. Spin the hip points towards the earth and find your version of standing split. So a slight bend in that right knee. So that left leg does not have to go all the way up towards the sky. Just find your area of resistance. One more breath here. On an exhale, we'll find our way back into warrior two. So left leg to the floor, arms up and over. Find that deep bend in the right knee. Beautiful. Vinyasa. Hands to the floor, right leg back, a high to low plank, cobra or upward dog. We'll meet in downward dog. Soft eye gaze. Shake out that head. Other side, the left leg lifts. We find our warrior one. Firm foundation, ride that breath all the way up. Hands come behind the back body. We lift our heart and we find our silver surfer. We stay here for one breath in, one breath out. On an inhale, back through warrior one. Extend lines of energy out through the fingertips as we open into warrior two. Allow those shoulders to relax. We reverse on the inhale. Find your way back into warrior two. Now straighten through that left leg, finding your triangle. So we extend those ribs, reach that left hand as far as possible. Allow the hand to find its way to the shin, the brick, right arm up towards the sky. Close your eyes here. Just watch the gentle sway of the body as it tries to equalize without using the eyes. We find our internal vision. And just blink your eyes awake. We'll take that right hand on our right hip. Look towards the top of the mat, finding your way into half moon, Ardha Chandrasana. So slight bend in that left knee. You can use a brick. You reach that right foot, the height of your hips, flex the foot. Using that inner groin strength, can extend that right hand up towards the sky. Spreading those toes wide. Wanting, if you would like to work on the balance, maybe come onto the finger pads of the left hand, engage that core, as you just elevate the hand off the mat. One more breath here. On an exhale, take your right hand to the floor. We spin our hip points towards the floor and then just lift that right leg up for your version of standing split. So crown of the head comes to the floor, reaching your chin towards the shin. Couple more breaths here. So option to take a slight bend in that left knee, give those hamstrings a little bit of a break. Let's take one more breath here. Let it go. We'll step that right leg back into warrior two. Arms swing up and around. Deep bend in that left knee into your vinyasa. Nice work. That left leg back. High to low plank. Cobra or upward dog. We'll meet in downward dog. Soft eye gaze. Steady breathing. Let's take a big breath in through the nose. Just sigh it out. Two more like that. We inhale. Make some noise, let it go. Let's take one more breath here. Look forward, deep bend in the knees. You walk, maybe fly to the top. Halfway lift. Forward fold as we settle into our chair. Lines of energy out through the fingertips. Squeeze that imaginary brick together. Let's take that arms a little higher. Our tail tucks under. One more breath here. Let's take our hands to heart center as we fold. Crown of the head towards the floor. We find that halfway lift. With control, step or jump those feet back. High to low plank. Cobra or upward dog. Downward dog. Eyes towards the back of the mat. One more time, we'll add on a little bit to the sequence. That right leg lifts. We step it forward into warrior one. Ride that breath all the way up. We take the hands behind the back body. Notice which thumb is on top. We lift our heart into silver surfer. So we stay here for one full breath in, one full breath out. Inhale, slowly ride that breath all the way back into warrior one. And we open into warrior two. Soften those shoulders. Reverse on the inhale. Come back into warrior two, into our triangle. So the right leg lengthens. Extend the right fingers towards the top of the mat, finding your way into your triangle. Steady breathing. Any tension in the head or neck, we just gaze towards the toes. Let's take two more breaths here. We'll take a final full inhale. On an exhale, take that left hand on your left hip, working your way into half moon. So again, great time to use a brick. Slight bend in that right knee. The left leg elevates, flex the feet. You can extend that left hand up towards the sky or find the balance floating the hands off the floor. Two more breaths. If you fall, just come back in. Beautiful. One more inhale. On an exhale, lower the left hand to the floor. We'll find our version of standing split. So chin towards that right shin. The left leg lifts. You can take one hand behind the right ankle, or maybe work both hands, finding that balance. Surrender the head. Connecting with each inhalation and exhalation. Please take one more breath here. On an exhale, we'll find our Shiva squat. So that left knee is going to come behind the right, slight bend in that right knee. Then we extend that left leg back up towards the sky. So a few more like that, both knees bend, and we lengthen, building strength on that right leg. Let's take three more. We surrender and extend. Last two. We lengthen. Last one. Let's squeeze, extend. Now take that left knee all the way down. You ride it down the calf as we sit on the ground, and my right foot is crossed over that left knee. So take that left hand up towards the sky and take the elbow outside the right knee as we twist. Always an option to extend the bottom leg as Bill is doing. We lift our heart and we twist. 2 more, inhale. We twist over that right shoulder. 1 more breath in. Let's twist. We'll take a counter twist in the opposite direction. Come back to center. Just unwrap those legs. We're right here for boat. So we support under those knees, extend those arms, or extend those legs a little higher. So breathing all the way to the belly. So again, no rounded back. You can support, lift that heart. 2 more breaths here. Let's take another inhale. Cross your ankles, hands by your hips. We lift and just find your way through a vinyasa. So you can step the legs back, drop your knees if you wish, high to low plank, cobra, or upward dog. We'll meet in downward dog. Eyes towards the back of the mat. Shake out that head. Other side, the left leg lifts. Step it forward into warrior 1. Foundation with the feet. We ride that breath all the way up. Hands behind the back body, opposite thumb on top. We lift our heart into our silver surfer, crown of the head on the inside of that left foot. We stay here for 1 full breath in, 1 full breath out. Then slowly ride that breath back through warrior 1. We release the hands. Beautiful. Opening up into warrior 2. Reverse on the inhale. Working our way back into warrior 2. Now lengthen through that left leg into triangle. So we extend, let that left hand go, right arm up towards the sky. So spread those fingers wide. Lines of energy are reaching out at each fingertip. Lifting through the kneecaps, engaging those big muscles in the legs. 1 more breath in. On an exhale, we'll take that right hand on the right hip, look forward to the top of the mat, working into half moon. So a great time to use a brick. That right leg elevates. So you have an imaginary string holding that right leg in a 90-degree bend. Right hand can come up towards the sky. So option to find that balance by floating those left fingers off the mat. So making this your own practice. Always encouraging you that less is more. Let's take 1 more breath here. On an exhale, take the right hand to the floor. We spin our hip points to the earth and find our version of standing split. So your chin is working your way towards that left shin. The right leg lifts up towards the sky. Maybe take that left hand on the ankle. I like to wrap the arm around the calf. Gives me a little more stability. A soft play in that left knee to protect your hamstrings. Let the head be loose, let it go. Last few breaths here in this version of standing split. Maybe walk that right hand a little closer to that left foot. Working on the balance. And we'll come on to our Shiva squats. So that right knee is going to nestle right behind the left. Then we extend. We move with our breath. We squeeze the right knee behind the left. Curl up into that tight ball. Then we lengthen. 4 more. With our breath, we squeeze and extend. 3 more. Reach through the toes. Last 2. Stay with it. You're getting so strong. Last 1. Right knee behind the left. We'll extend. Then take that right knee and just slide it down the calf. So you're on your sits bones. My left foot is crossed over the right, or you can just extend that leg. So sometimes we try easy. Right hand up towards the sky, take that elbow outside the left knee and twist over the left shoulder. We breathe in, nice, and twist. 3 more. Heart lifts, we twist over the left shoulder. 1 more inhale, and we twist. Let's take a counter twist in the opposite direction. We come back to neutral, unwrap those legs, and we're gonna squeeze those knees into our chest. An option here to now take your hands behind your hips. We'll squeeze the knees in, then we extend. We breathe in, and we lengthen. So you can take your hands at your heart, or protect your back a little more by supporting them behind your hips. Let's take 6 more. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, on 1, we squeeze, take those feet flat on the floor, and just wrap your arms around the legs. Take your forehead in towards your knees, spread out the toes, slow down that breath. Let's take 2 more breaths here. 1 more inhale, let it go. We'll lift our head, just cross your ankles, and we'll come up to standing. So we tuck our toes, walk your hands back towards your toes as we unwind our spine. Extend the arms up overhead into Samastitihi, hands at your heart center. Pause and breathe. Slowing down that breath. Your head is over your shoulders, shoulders over your hips, hips over your knees over your ankles. So let's flutter our eyelids open. We'll bend our right knee up into our chest. We'll find some quick twists with our ankle in one direction. We'll change direction. Now take that right foot in the inner left thigh so you find that connection, and we'll take the opposite hand, that left hand on our right knee, and extend that right arm behind you. So you're gazing straight ahead now, and we'll slowly just invite our head to come towards the side of our mat. Gently twisting from the abdomen, and maybe gazing towards that right thumb. 2 more breaths. 1 more inhale. On an exhale, we'll take the head back to center. Extend both arms up overhead. Unhinge that knee, and let's flex. 5, 4, beautiful. Move from your core. 3, 2, and 1. We'll find our way into tree. So that right foot comes back into that left thigh. We'll take our hands at our heart center. Looking straight ahead. So wherever your eyes are, that's where gravity will pull you. So looking eye level, let's bring our prayer up over our head. So keeping the soles of your palms together, can you bend from your elbows? Maybe support those hands behind your head. Maybe gaze up towards the sky. We're still breathing. 1 more inhale. Let it go. Extend the arms back up towards the sky. And just allow them to come down to your heart center. Beautiful work. We'll take that right foot to the floor, and we'll come to the other side. So we start with bending that left knee. Just finding some ankle twists in both directions. Now take that left foot in the inner right thigh. You find that firm foundation, opposite hand, that right hand on the left knee. You can keep the left hand on your hip or just extend the arm behind you. So we're gazing straight ahead. And just shifting our eye gaze. So take it to the side and maybe take the eyes towards the back of your mat. Can you find that left thumb? 2 more breaths. Your eyes get a stretch in this position as well. And we'll slowly take our gaze back towards the side, towards the front of the mat. Both arms extend overhead. Unhinge that left foot. Try not to lean back and pulse. 5, 4, beautiful. 3, 2, on 1. We find that tree position, that same foot in the inner right thigh. Again, bring your hands to your heart center. Find that balance. You can always hang on to a banister or the wall. And again, we lift our prayer. And again, let's just bend through those elbows. So firing up our triceps. Try to keep those floating ribs back in the body. We'll take our arms and taking them shoulder distance apart. Let's lift our chin. Greeting the day. Welcoming spring. We'll take our hands to our heart center and just lower that left leg to the floor. Just shake it out. We're going to take our legs into a straddle position here. So turn your toes in slightly. On an inhale, extend the arms up overhead. And again, we'll invite that bend in the right elbow. You can keep hold of that elbow or maybe snake the hands behind the back body, finding those finger pads. Always use an option to use a strap. We take a slight bend in those knees, hinge from your hips into that forward fold. So noticing that the weight goes into our heels, see if you can bring it into the balls of the feet. 2 more breaths. 1 more inhale. We're going to release the hands to the floor. Just spin those left toes out in a 45-degree angle and we'll melt into our inner groins. So any version of Skandasana, I like to flex the right foot. These first initial postures, I like the support of the ground, allowing the body to just settle into the posture. Feels taking a more standing stance here. And we'll just walk to the other side. So tracking that the right knee over the right toes. Allow those inner groins to soften. Flex the left feet. And we'll go to each side 1 more time. So moving with awareness, moving with your breath. Maybe take 1 hand at your heart center, maybe both. We'll keep that firm connection with the earth. We'll bend 1 more time. That right knee over the right toes. Lift the heart. And we'll come back into our straddle position. Hands on your hips. We inhale, come all the way up. Now extend the arms up overhead. And we'll take a bend in that left elbow. So the right hand can support here. Draw those floating ribs back in the body. Or working on the bind. So maybe the finger pads don't connect here. You can hang on to your shirt. Take a slight bend in the knees and hinge forward. So take weight into the balls of the feet again. Opening up the backs of the knees, the hamstrings. We protect our back by hamstrings and back by slight bending those knees. 2 more breaths here. 1 more inhale. Let that go. We'll release the hands to the floor this time. Heel toe your feet together until it's hips distance apart. We'll grab onto our peace fingers, using our peace fingers on our big toes. We find that halfway lift. Elbows bend out to the side. Slight bend in the knees. As you just let go here. So noticing where our shoulders are in space, draw them in the opposite direction of your ears. We free up that head and neck. More weight into the balls of the feet. And breath by breath, we begin to lengthen, opening up the backs of the knees, straightening the legs to the best of our ability. Let's take 2 more breaths. One more inhale here. Let it go. Release the toes, heel toe those feet together. Let's unwind the spine, taking your time. A big breath in. Samastitihi, hands at our heart center. So let's step to the top of our mat. As we work our way back to the floor, we take a full inhale. Forward fold on the exhale. We find that halfway lift. Just step your feet back onto your knees. We're gonna work our way into our camel position. So I like to give my knees a little extra cushion here. And we'll start with 2, we'll take 2 camels this morning. So the first one, we'll tuck our toes under. Our knees are hips distance apart. Our hands are on the back body and draw those elbows towards one another. So you're looking straight ahead, pressing our hip points to the front of your mat. Open up the throat, the head. Connecting with that breath, maybe going a little further, reaching for those heels. Finding that beautiful bow in the chest. Keeping that rhythmic breathing. If you're holding your breath, you're too far in the posture. So take a few more breaths here. One more inhale. Let that go. We'll take our hands back on our hips. Keep your toes tucked under. We'll sit our bottom on the heels as we interlace our fingers and we open up the wrists. So finding that figure 8 or infinity, that infinity shape, and we'll change direction. Let's shake out that extra energy. And just one more wrist opener here. So maybe give those toes a little breather. But you'll take the fingers towards your toes, opening up the wrists to the earth. So the closer to your knees, the easier the position. So again, sometimes we try easy. One more inhale. Let it go. Let's shake out that energy. And we'll tap some energy into our toes as we set up for our last camel. So our shins are rooting here. We walk our hands up our thighs. Find that firm foundation with the feet and the shins. Same setup with the hands. Squeeze those elbows in. We lift our breastbone, our sternum. Surrender the head. As you bump those hip points forward. Stay here or maybe reach for those heels, finding that beautiful bow. Breathing in and out through the nose. Keeping those eyes open. Nice, 2 more breaths. We take a final full inhale. Let it go. Take your hands back on your hips. Nice, and we'll lower our hands to the floor. You can cross your ankles, and let's come onto our back body. So scooching into the center of your mat, let's squeeze those knees back into our chest. And working our way into a plow position. So you can just extend your legs up towards the sky for a version of an inversion. Or finding your way into plow, you lift your hips, you take your toes up and over, walking your hands down your back body. So again, not moving your head or neck in this more vulnerable position. You can take your legs up into a different inversion, into a shoulder stand, or I come onto the top of my toes here, breathing into that middle back. Taking your time, moving with awareness in and out of the posture. Staying here or inviting you to squeeze those knees in towards your ears. And we'll slowly unwind the spine. So I've released my forearms to the earth as slowly as possible. I roll on my back body. Once my hips hit the floor, you can support them with your hands as you slowly lower those legs all the way down to the mat. So we're gonna hug those knees back to your chest, cactusing your hands out to the side. Let's take those knees to the left as you gaze over that right shoulder. Finding that breath in and out through the nose. And inhale, taking those knees back to center. We'll drop them in the opposite direction. Squeeze those knees together as they find their way to the earth. You can always support them with the brick. And maybe gaze over that opposite shoulder. Breathing in and out through the nose. Then we'll come back to center. We'll take that right ankle on the left thigh, flex both feet as you hug that left knee in. Bill's all ready to play. We've got a little more work on our hips though. So squeeze that left knee in.
Yes, darling.
Flexing those feet. Can you soften the shoulders away from your ears? Squeeze that knee in a little closer. And let's find the other side. So that left ankle on top of the right knee, interlaced behind the kneecap or on the thigh as you invite that left knee away from the body by using that left elbow. Now take that right knee closer into the chest. Feeling those sensations on the outer left hip. Face is soft. Please take one more inhale here. Let's let that go. And we'll bend those knees one more time into our chest. And let's find our way into our happy baby one last time. So finding the outer edges of your feet, we'll bend both of those knees. So isometrically, you're drawing those hands in your inner arches of your feet, but you're pressing those arches against your hands. So you find that constriction. Keep squeezing for 3, 2, and on 1. Slowly allow those legs to work their way to the floor. We'll stretch the arms up overhead. Take up a lot of space as you settle in for a few moments of Shavasana. We find that next full incoming breath. And gently sigh it out, let it go. As you dance your toes and fingers awake, let's extend the arms up overhead. And exhale, squeeze those knees one more time into your chest. Give yourself a morning hug. As you find your way to either side of the mat, curling up into that ball of light. Stay here or find your way to a comfortable seated position, your eyes soft or closed. I'm going to quote this morning from Bradley Whitford. Infuse your life with action. Don't wait for it to happen. Make it happen. Make your own future. Make your own hope. Make your own love. And whatever your beliefs, honor your creator, not by passively waiting for grace to come down from upon high, but by doing what you can do to make grace happen yourself right now, right down here on earth. So inviting you to bring your hands to your heart center, bowing your forehead to the tips of your fingers, just acknowledging your practice this morning, this beautiful gift you gave yourself to connect with your breath, to open up the body, to calm the mind. So we'll join our voices to seal class off with one beautiful Om. We sip in that inhale. Om. Namaste. Thank you all for joining. Thank you for letting us join the class with the right link. So nice to see all of you. We really appreciate your support and thank you for joining. Make it a great day. We turn our clocks, we spring forward on Sunday, which is amazing. So we get those long days again. So thank you all.